Hey everyone, Ericka Redic with Of the People. Very excited to have on my guest today, Brandon Straka with the hashtag Walkaway movement. Now, I had to wear my gear.
Oh, I love it.
I used to be a liberal. You were actually a big part and you were instrumental. You were kind of coming up at a time when I was literally putting the last nails into the coffin of my liberalism.
Yep.
We have a very similar story in that, grew up liberal. I'm from Vermont. I'm from the Northeast. You're in New York. And I feel like we just kind of grow up a default liberal.
Yes.
In this country,
Yeah.
It's kind of like default.
Yeah.
And then Benjamin and I lived in Hollywood. He's a filmmaker. And we were suddenly surrounded by all these people who are supposed to be tolerant.
Right.
And, we know things. And look at us. We're elites and we're smarter than everyone else. Right. And then I know your story, you talk about how somebody shared a video of President Trump.
Yeah.
And it was the full video, and it sort of changed you.
Yes.
Right? So for me, it was when I was listening to NPR, and they said there was no crisis at our southern border, and my nephew's a Border Patrol agent in South Texas. And I was like, these people are liars.
That's the thing. It's so, I think some of the most disturbing examples are when you watch the media lie about something you saw with your own eyes. Yes. And that I'll be very brief, but an example of that happened to me after I started Walkaway. We took Walkaway to Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
And we did a rally in 2020 that we called Rescue America.
Okay.
While we were doing our rally, BLM showed up. They literally charged our stage, and our security was forced to step in, apprehend them, and take them down. The police came. The police actually arrested the BLM protester who charged our stage.
Good.
Took him to the police, but then they came back and they arrested my security agent. So we went to the police station in Dallas because they kept our security agent for hours. So we went to simply ask, where is he? Like, what's going on?
The charge.
When we got there were about 30 BLM protesters outside of the police station demanding to get their guy back. And when we showed up, like 5 of us from the Walkaway team, those 30 people chased us down the street for 5 blocks, grabbed our phones, broke them on the ground, were threatening to kill us. And every media outlet was there. ABC, NBC, CBS. They followed us and recorded the entire chase. That night on the news, they didn't say a word about BLM chasing us. They ran a story about how BLM were the victims of us because their guy got taken away for doing nothing wrong. And that's why I was just like, the whole system is corrupt. They're all lying.
That's what the whole words or violence thing justifies their actual violence. So they think if you disagree with them, that is you committing violence against them, and they therefore can just beat you up. The logic of these people is very outrageous.
There's no logic, and they'll find any reason, to your point, to justify any behavior that they have. I mean, once you convince yourself that your opponent is a Nazi or Hitler, or that you're saving humanity from a second Holocaust, then you pretty much have carte blanche to do anything that you want to do whenever you want to do it, because you're just sort of like, well, yeah, this person isn't doing anything, and yeah, I'm the one initiating the problem, but I have to save humanity from the Nazis.
So it's justified.
So anything I do is justified.
No matter what.
No matter what.
And the worst, I shouldn't say the worst part about it is, then the folks on our side, on our team, we're all non-aggression principle.
Yeah.
And that as soon as you fight back and defend yourself, that's what they cover, right?
Right.
Like the January 6th stuff
that
you're dealing with, right? Yeah. So if we just stand up, and not people who were actually rioting, not people who were attacking people, but just being at a rally is enough to deplatform you, to take away your business, to take away your infrastructure, and to label you a terrorist.
Well, and I mean, even if we zoom out of the January 6th thing, because, they've given themselves a lot of leverage by calling it an insurrection and by kind of assigning a false meaning to why people were there. But let's step aside from that for a minute and talk about other examples, like in 2020 when BLM was burning the country down.
Yeah.
And then they charged into a private neighborhood and a couple couple named the McCloskeys,
Yes.
went out to protect their own property on their own yard. They ended up getting arrested and taken to jail and
for
charged.
brandishing.
Correct.
Like, what, dude?
You know, there's a white man on the subway in New York City who's literally protecting other passengers by apprehending somebody who happens to be black and taking him down. He's now facing murder charges. They're demonizing self-defense and basically making people afraid to be able to protect themselves from what they are doing. And conservatives sit back and let it happen.
They just kind of let it go. That's one of the things my greatest critiques of my conservative and libertarian friends and folks is like, you can sit and be quiet and you can try this go along to get along thing and think that you're going to be fine. But eventually they're going to come for you. You're going to do something wrong. You're going to say something wrong and somebody's going to hear about it and they're going to find a reason to give you crap.
Or they'll manufacture something that you did wrong that you didn't do. Which is entirely another thing. Yeah, it is another thing, but you're right. Because what's happening right now is that I think the majority of people are thinking to themselves, I should speak up. I want to speak up. I know that this is wrong. I know, but I've got a business, I've got kids, I've got grandkids, I've got, whatever. I've got my place in our society. I've got whatever. And so they're thinking if I just keep my head down and I just don't make noise, I'm going to be fine. But you're not going to be fine. Because eventually they're going to come around and they're going to get you too. And it doesn't matter. I know a lot of people think, well, I feel bad for the J6ers, but, I knew something was wrong, so I didn't go on January 6th. I didn't, whatever. Well, trust me when I say, if you think that just because you haven't committed a crime you're going to be okay, very soon they will. You don't have to commit a crime for them to come after you. They will make up the reason.
Oh yeah. Okay. So what? A little bit further down. Okay. That's what Benjamin's saying. Hold the microphone a little bit further. You know what it is? Because we're excitable. We're a couple of Northeasterners, and you get us talking about stuff, and we get excited, and we start shouting.
Poor Benjamin.
He's like,
I probably blew his eardrums out.
No, it's fine. He's totally fine.
What if is this better, Benjamin?
Talk like this. Okay, so I definitely have my #Walkaway gear. I got this T-shirt. I got a hoodie. So you have a website that people can go to.
But did you get the keychain, the bumper sticker, I'm just kidding.
The
briefcase?
Is what I'm saying. Like, first, before I forget, tell everybody
you have like the starter kit.
Before we forget, tell everybody where to go get merch to show off their stuff.
Well, really interesting you should ask, because we just relaunched our new store, which is at walkaway.shop.
Okay. Because you got taken off of everything.
Everything. Just like, talk about an annihilation. I mean, everything. So we had to build a new store. We just launched it. I'll be really honest and say we're not there yet. I mean, we're still selling a lot of our stuff.
Yeah.
But over the coming weeks, we'll be adding more of the old items that people love. Cool. This is one of my favorite shirts. Once upon a time, I was a liberal. I mean, that's what I said in my original Walkaway video that sort of launched the whole thing. And I love that. So we got to get that back on the store, and coffee cups and things like that. But yeah, we do have some shirts available at walkaway.shop.
So dialing back a little bit to kind of the beginning of the #Walkaway movement, when you started to realize, like, what was it like for you when you kind of started to realize that you were awakening? You're having this awakening and this new understanding, and you started to lose some friends, lose some connections, maybe lose some clients. Because we talk about fear a lot. A lot of the reason why people don't stand up is fear. What helped you get through? Like, what gave you the courage to stand up in the face of losing things? Because you were really up there as far as your career. So, like, what was that like for you to just go, you know what? It doesn't matter. Like, I'm doing this regardless of the consequences.
I think like courage or bravery or whatever is almost like a side effect or a symptom, or I don't think I did what I did because I was courageous. I think I did what I did because I couldn't live with myself for living a lie.
Yeah.
And then when you make the decision that you have to do something because you can't live with yourself, you kind of have to take a deep breath and just say to yourself, I'm going to do this with courage, whether I'm ready or not.
Yeah.
Kind of, so I think that's what it was. I think it was less than me just being like, I'm brave and courageous. I think it was just like, I can't live like this, because it's like living in the closet all over again. I mean, I'm living in New York City at the time. Every day you go out to dinner with friends, you go to a party, a social outing, and it takes 30 seconds before Trump, Trump, I hate Trump, evil Hitler, Trump, and you're just like, am I going to spend the next 4 years nodding along as people do this and going like, oh, I know, he's the worst, or am I finally just going to get to the point of like, no, you've actually got it wrong. Sorry, but you've got it wrong. And I just made the decision that I was not going to live a double life of insincerity.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. It was really eye-opening for us when we lived in Hollywood. Benjamin and I got invited to a Labor Day party by our neighbors. We were new in the neighborhood. And this guy was like, oh, all Christians and Republicans are white supremacists and neo-Nazis. And I looked at my husband, Benjamin, who's clearly not of the same color persuasion as I am. And
what persuaded you to be black, Benjamin? What finally twisted your arm?
So I look up at my black husband and I go, did you hear that, honey? We're white supremacists. And I said it as a joke to kind of just like thinking that I could diffuse the energy a little bit and just kind of like, hey, look at us. We're like normal people. Yeah. And we don't care that you guys are gay. And we don't care that you guys are Jewish. And we don't care that whatever. Like, no. This is a whole, Why
would anyone care?
And it was just like, that dude, he was not impressed. No. He did not think it was funny at all. He was like, nah, and he walked away.
See, but this goes back to the point we were making earlier about them finding any reason to justify what they believe or what they do. They will look a black person in the face who's a conservative and tell them that they're a white supremacist. Yes. They'll look a gay person in the face and tell them that they're homophobic or that they're responsible for violence against gay people, whatever. And they do this because, once they, in their twisted religion, their ideology, they tell themselves, everyone's inherently racist, everyone's inherently whatever, and it's their job or their duty to point this out on other people.
Yeah.
And it's like, I literally know white conservatives who are married to black people, have half black children, and who have said, okay, my spouse is black and my children are black. How am I a racist? Well, you just are.
Oh, yeah.
You are, and it's just like, okay, well then literally we all are. I mean, like, if everybody's racist, nobody's racist.
And if you're a homosexual, if you're gay and you like Trump, then obviously you want to be back in the closet. They are the racists. They are the homophobes. Like, when you have straight white people, like, you know what I mean? Like, straight people telling gay people, calling them slurs, or white people calling black people
or telling me what I am and am not allowed to believe or allowed to do. I mean,
my God, it's crazy.
If the whole premise of bigotry is that a group of people is suppressing or oppressing another group of people from being able to, have equal rights or the full ability to do whatever, okay, so who's the bigger bigot then? Because I have liberals every day telling me I'm not allowed to be a Republican. I'm not allowed to support Trump.
Yes.
I'm not. So
you're not allowed to think for yourself.
Right. So if I have straight liberals telling me that I have to vote Democrat because I'm gay, who's oppressing me? Because I don't have Republicans telling me who I have to vote for, or what I have to believe, or who I am and am not allowed to support.
This is what I'm saying. Okay, so I feel like I could have you on my show and we could just talk for hours and hours and hours.
Sure.
But I want to respect your time today. I'm sure we're not the only people.
You're not the only game in town, sweetheart.
Who are trying to talk to you. So, Brandon Straka, thank you so much for coming to talk to us today. Yeah. Thank you for all your work and for standing up and for continuing to fight in the face of absolute persecution.
Thank you.
And prosecution. We need people with your strength and your perseverance to be out there fighting the fight, and I thank you for that.
Thank you. Can I give you a hug?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
so much.
Thank you.
All right.